Hi, y'all. Um, I want to say something really quick here about money. Um, and I put some stuff on my Basic Christian channel about it as well for Christians, but this is for everybody. I noticed, things over time, and even in my own life, about how we worship money and why money is the root of all evil. The reason why money is a root of all evil in the Bible is because without money there would be no devil. The devil lives off of money. The devil has to throw money in front of you in order to control you. Now, I'm not going to get all spiritual, but you don't do wickedness without money. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. You could be a wicked man wielding a gun that you never bought, nor learned how to shoot. Okay? Could be a stolen gun. But the person that you stole that gun from, or wherever you found that gun, somebody paid money for that gun. And probably the amount of money that they paid over it was way over your head. Okay? Same thing with you getting cheap housing. At one time, somebody was paying a fortune on that housing, and then they chopped it up and made it smaller housing so it would be affordable, or they, because of the value property, or the value of the property I should say, started to go down. Now you can get it cheap, but there was a time when that was all connected. You wonder why your place is so small? Because what you're living in used to be somebody's bedroom and now it's a whole apartment. Okay? Or what you're living in used to be a bathroom, a large bathroom. Now it's your little efficiency. Okay? And that's how they make things affordable. But I said this before and I'm going to say it again. You're not a millionaire unless you can take $1 million and just throw it on whatever you want to and own it, and it's yours. Same thing with a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. You're not that unless you can take money and buy that, just go write out a check, buy it, and it's yours. And it's yours until you decide to resell it. Okay? That's a millionaire. That's a billionaire. A billionaire has enough money in the bank that adds up to $1 million that belongs to him. It doesn't belong to his bills. It doesn't belong to any assets that he owns. It doesn't belong to any of his customers or anything. It's his money. He can spend that money at will. So when people think of Donald Trump being a millionaire or a billionaire, Elon Musk, what they're thinking of more likely is that not so much that they always have $1 billion in the bank to do whatever they want to do with it. They can spend it all on toilet paper if they want to. I mean, they don't have to spend it on anything of value. They can spend it any way they want to. Okay? If they have it like that, that would be the initial title of what a billionaire or a millionaire is. But when people say that you're a millionaire or billionaire, they're talking about what you own. They're talking about if they look at your assets and your home, your net worth, which I don't believe in that garbage. Who gives a right to give somebody a net worth? That's so ungodly. But they're looking at your net worth. They're looking at how much your house costs. They're looking at how much your business is worth and how much revenue is coming out of that business by the end of the week. To me, anything can happen in a month. It's what you make a day and what you make a week is what really matters. If you're making $1,000 a week, $1,000 a month, I'm sorry, that's not real money. If you're making $50,000 a month, but you got bills to pay, that's not real money. Okay, bills got to come out at $50,000. Now, if that $50,000 is yours by the end of the month, okay, but see, if it took you till the end of the month to make $50,000, that doesn't help. Now, if you got $50,000 a week, and I just was listening to Myron Golden, and he was talking about this, that it's not what you make a month. People who work jobs worry about the month, and they worry about every 2 weeks. When you are rich or when you are wealthy, you're making weekly what a lot of people are making monthly. That's the difference. That's the difference between wealthy and, living in your means or whatever. You're dishing out that money per week instead of a month. Okay, so the only way to do that is to have a business where people get up and work every day, and money is being made by the hour, and you choose to take your cut by what they make per week, not by what they make per month. But if you have money in the bank, being a good businessman and fair to your employees and fair to your customers, you'll take your cut off the month instead of the week. But when people say that you're a millionaire or billionaire, they're going by how much money you make. And I disagree, but they're going by how much money, and that's another thing. If you're a millionaire by the end of the year, you're not a millionaire. It took you a year to become a millionaire, you're not a millionaire. That means that the next day, after you made your millionaire money at the end of the month, within that week, within that following week, you're going to lose probably half that million. Same thing with being a billionaire. Same thing with being a thousandaire or anything. Okay? It's only good if you don't have to spend it on anything. Any money you make, any money that you would have a little bit of happiness or pride about, is money that you don't have to touch it. It's yours. Okay? It's yours. You don't have to share it with anyone. Okay? And, I'm listening to a friend of mine, Sunshine Shoulders. I love to talk about the Philippines because I just want to go out there so bad. And I can't afford to do it right now. But Sunshine Shoulders was just saying, I'm so sorry I came here to America, and I'm so sorry, and he's talking about what it's going to cost them. Well, these guys are going to the Philippines bragging about how much money they make. Where are you getting your money from? Or they're bragging, I should say, about how easy it is to live in the Philippines, how you live like a king in the Philippines on what? Okay? But where are you getting your money from that you can't go to the United States? And see, real money flow. Like, for example, let's say I had $1 million in the bank. I mean, even if I was to win the lotto and win, I don't know, so many million. What? Give me a number. What's a number that people live off of? I don't know what it is. I think it's less than. I think it's less than 20 mil. That people can live the rest of their life off of. Yeah, if you add things to, if you got that $1 million in the bank and you have another way for that $1 million to come back to you. But once you start you know what I'm saying? If I'm eating a sandwich and I take a little tiny bite off of it, it's still not a full sandwich. I'm starting, and then I take another bite and another bite and another bite. Okay, if I go in there and I open up a bottle of orange juice and I take a sip, okay, it's not fresh orange juice anymore. It's not a full bottle of orange juice anymore. And then as you see, as the day goes by, how fast are we drinking orange juice? 2 days, 3 days. How big is this orange juice jug? Okay, within a week, that orange juice is gone, or less. Now that costs me more money to get more orange juice. I got to go buy another jug of orange juice. Money is only really, really stable if it's doing a circle. Money goes around in a circle. Wherever in a circle you invest that, it comes right back to you. Okay? Money, this is money. Okay? This is not money. Okay? This is money. Okay? So, if I invest in my own, if I invest in a housing plan, and I have several tenants that live in my housing plan, okay? They're all paying rent per month. They all have to pay a certain amount of rent per month. Okay. And if someone doesn't pay their rent, that's money taken out of my revenue. You see what I'm saying? That's money taken out of my passiveness. Okay? It only takes one person not to pay the rent on time for there to begin to be an issue. And any money that I have that I've saved up, smart rich people, smart wealthy people, any money that I have saved up, and I'm putting my hand like this because I'm talking about money in the background, in the banks and stuff like that. Might have money over a number of banks or whatever. That helps, because what happens is you have to have money there to cover losses. And that's part of being rich too. Okay, that's part of being rich. And that's part of being wealthy too. Like, you don't just have all your money coming from one place, and you don't spend everything that is available for you to spend. You save it. So a person, and I've seen people win the lottery and all like that, and sit about 10 people down and say, hey, what would you do if you won the lottery? What would you do if you won $1 million? Half the people in this lineup, okay, half the people in this lineup, split it right down the middle. Half the people in this lineup, or more, matter of fact, bring that line over a little bit. Bring it over here. Because what they're going to do is they're going to talk about how they would blow that money. Oh, they're going to go to Las Vegas and they're going to gamble again. Okay? Or they may stay in Las Vegas and gamble, wherever they got their money from. Okay? They might put it right back into the gambling machine. But it's wrong for us to put that money right back in the church. It's wrong for us to put our money, our wealth, into the churches. But it's okay to put them back into the casinos. See how worldly and devilish that is? Okay, people criticizing Christians. You're giving your money to the man. Oh, he's a doctor. The pastor is a doctor. Most of them have PhDs. Okay? It ain't no different than you being a doctor, or you being, you owning, something. where people are coming and being fed, whether they're being entertained or whether they're being taught classes, schooling, whatever. Okay? You're a doctor. You have a practice. Okay? And there are doctors out there that are billionaires. There's doctors out there that are billionaires. Look at Benjamin Carson. He did one thing right in his entire life and wrote some books behind it, and voila, the man's a millionaire. Okay? Billionaire, whatever. But, you got to have money in the back to cover your losses, because anytime you touch what you have, see, it's all about your net. It's not about the money that you owe. Don't count the money that you owe for your phone, your gas, your light, your water. You don't count that as money. Most of that's not even an asset. The only thing that's an asset is your house and your car and any kind of equipment. If you own a tractor, if you own instruments, or if you own tools or whatever, that can be used as assets. But your house is not an asset unless it's paid off. Same thing with your cars. See, you got to pay this stuff off, and those are the two things that keep people wealthy: is paying stuff off and having money saved up. Paying stuff off and having money saved up. Paying stuff off and having money saved up. Okay, that's what keeps people. And I've worked with people that have retired, and they have had all this money saved up in a special bank, and now that they're retiring, they don't have their job anymore. They have a good inheritance for them and their wife to live off of. My problem with that is, with the economy always changing and us going into a recession, and then we striving, we thriving, and then we got people, then our president is taking our money or whatever, because of his legislation or whatever. We just went through a horrible Biden Harris presidency, okay? Taking our money, taking our taxes, and causing us more taxes and stuff like that. You never know what's going to happen when you say, oh, I only need $1 million. I only need $20 million. So while you was living off of $20 million, you shot somebody in self-defense, and they're trying to claim that it wasn't self-defense when it was clearly self-defense. You got the footage. You got it on camera. It was self-defense. But it's going to cost you in court time to prove. And they know that you won. They know that you're innocent. But this is the way, this is the stuff they do to us. This is the stuff they do to us in this country. Where they'll make you pay something. They done this to Donald Trump. All this, taking him to court and all like that, they're only doing that because he was rich. If he was a bum like me, I'm not a bum, but if he was a work bait, trashy job bait person like me, they wouldn't have bothered with him. They would have let him go. But because he got money, they came after it. That's what this is all about. All this, indictments and all this stuff, it's costing Trump. Trump got to take that out of his pocket, and he can't take it out of the presidency. He can't take it out of anything he's doing for the White House or anything. It's coming out of his pocket. And so, you're a rich man, but now your wife and your kids are frustrated, and they might have to stop some things that they're doing monthly to make sure that that money, what, is coming back to you. So sunshine shoulders. I'm disappointed in whatever it is that he does for a living, that he can't come over to the U.S. He can't come home to the U.S. and live over here. And the only video I want to see now is him get on a plane and go back home, because where's the money coming from for him to get back home if he's doing that bad in his own country? Okay, so he doesn't have this. He doesn't have a circle. This is good. Even if you are, and then the other thing, whether you have a circle, once you have a circle, okay, once you have a circle, instead of a lever that goes up, okay, or down, okay, this is how it works, okay. This is the way it goes. It goes in a circle. Because if it goes up, it comes back down. If it goes in a circle, then it's always coming back to you. Okay? And so whatever money you make, so let's say you living off of your Social Security, or you're living off of the money that you're making for a small business or whatever. The two things that you have to be concerned about, and this is the third thing about it, is that you have to budget even if you are filthy rich. Donald Trump has the budget. In order to stay a millionaire, he has the budget. Now, the thing about the circle is that no matter what you do, right or wrong, it's coming back to you. Okay? But the problem with that is, let's say you've been to court a bunch of times within the course of this year. Okay? So that means that the circle, even though it comes back to you, it doesn't come back to you as rich as it did last month, or last year, I should say, because you got all these court cases that you had to pay, so you're not able to do this year what you did last year or the year before. So what you got to do is you got to go on a budget, so that when that circle comes back around, you're rich. Because if you keep going through things that you don't expect to happen, like, so everybody, I don't care how rich you are, you have to budget, and you have to say, this is my means. So let's say, you might be the kind of person, you might be able to travel every week. You might be able to, travel every week, but nobody travels every day, okay? You might be able to travel every week. You may be able to go on a tour and be gone for 6 months and go through a series of countries that you make so much money. But then, when you come back, you can't just wait a couple weeks and go back through a series of countries. When you come back, you're going to be budgeting. You're going to be eating some beans and rice. You're going to be doing some things. Okay, and that's another way. People who are born, and people who have been out on the street homeless, and people that have been born into poverty, and they've had this goal on their mind, okay, to be above what they're going through. They've starved themselves, and they denied themselves things. They barely want to take a bath with soap because of how much soap is costing. So, they get in the tub and they use the soap very lightly, I'm serious. People do this because they understand how money works to our disadvantage. Okay? And so you have to. So let's go through all of those again. Number one, you're only a billionaire or a millionaire if you have $1 million in the bank. Okay, that belongs to you, that is your net for you to spend. You don't have to spend it on gas, you don't have to spend it on light, you don't have to spend it on a phone, you don't have to spend it on the cost of living. It's yours. You can spend all that money and just leave and run away to Mexico or run away wherever you want to run away with that money. That's your runaway money. I call that runaway money. When you have money in the bank that you don't have to spend it on nothing, but you can throw it all on one thing. You can just use it to run away and leave the country. Okay? That's actually being a millionaire or billionaire. When you got $1 million, okay? But again, like I said, people think of a millionaire as somebody that's sitting on $1 million gold mine. Well, that money's not theirs. They spent over time millions of dollars to build this company, and they're not getting $1 million back. That is, now don't get me wrong, there are millionaires out there that, they have so much point million. It's the point million that gets deducted, but the million stays in the bank, and they control that and make sure that happens. That $1 million is always there, but they're afraid to spend it because they don't know what's coming. See, they don't know what's coming. They don't know. You know what I'm saying. You don't take your $1 million and make it into $500,000, because it could cost you $500,000 just for a lawsuit. Or somebody accusing you of something you didn't do. And from what I understand, if you fight it, they don't give you that money back if you win. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do they give you that money back if you win the case? I don't think they do. Now, the thing is, you can win the case, and depending on who you're casing against, you can charge them money. They can pay money to keep from some kind of criminal activity. Half of that's going to go to the court, though. Not going to go to you. So anything can happen. This is why we don't worship money, because anything can happen. So we have what is really a billionaire or a millionaire, and most people are not looking at what you got in the bank. They're looking at your assets, which wear and tear. This is why the Bible says, lay up for your treasures in heaven that can't be destroyed or get rusty and dirty or whatever. Because why? Why is it saying that? Because you shouldn't lay up treasure here on earth. In other words, you shouldn't chase after material things so much, right? But assets are material things. Okay? And the way we handle assets is to hurry up and get money for those assets before they wear and tear, instead of paying more money on those assets, because there's that circle again. Now your assets are doing a circle, because you get a car, okay, you do a lease, you after the lease is good for so many days, weeks, months, and 5 years or whatever, you return the car, start a new lease, okay. And that's how that circle works. Okay? Even with your assets. Okay? Everything has to go in a circle. Okay? So we have What is a billionaire? What is a millionaire? We have money behind, okay, to cover things. We have, and part of that is your own personal savings. And we have the budget, and we have the circle. So you got savings, you got budgeting, okay, and you have, here's the last one, wait time. I mentioned it earlier, but you have wait time. You gotta wait. God is showing me all this because of the situation that I'm going through right now. You have wait time. You gotta wait to do something. Maybe you want a new guitar. You want a new car. If you have a guitar that works, if you have a car that works, you might want to stick with that, unless that car is making you a lot of money. But if that car is just your personal car and you're not making money with that car, then you don't want to invest more than you have to before you have to in that car. Okay? You want to wait before you do things because you don't know what's going to happen. That's the scariest thing about money. You don't know in a country like this, or in any other country actually, what's going to come and take your money. You don't know. Next year might not be like this year. Or this year might not be like last year. Or this year might not be like the year to come. You don't know what's going to happen. The cost of living is constantly going up. And people are always doing things to scam you for money. They're doing it in the supermarket. They're doing it in the depot. They're doing it in restaurants. They're doing it at the car dealership. They're doing it at the car repair place. They're doing it, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, when I had my car recently. It's like they tell you what the prices are before looking at the car. And they don't want to fix your car unless they're getting a certain amount of money for it. So, and this is Pittsburgh for you. Like these these car repair places, they were doing this to me. They were like, they didn't want to bother with my brakes until they definitely needed rotors. They don't want to just put like, and then they tried to get me to pay like these brakes that are in the middle, and I'm like, why y'all got so many brakes? Y'all gotta be lying about these prices. Okay, but they had like 5 to 10 different brake models there. And I'm like, give me the one in the middle. And it's like, the conversation wasn't going to end until I said, give me the one in the middle. And then it was like, when I wanted to get the car fixed, they kept on waiting until, you know, because I knew what they were doing. They wanted to put brakes and rotors. And when you would talk to them, they were always talking about brakes and rotors. Well, dude, I'm not trying to worry about rotors. I'm trying to get my vehicle fixed before. But see, that was their budget. Brakes and rotors. They don't make enough money if they just do brakes and let you buy the economy version of the brakes. They're not making any money. But they want you to buy, they want you to have brakes and rotors done. So they want you to always come back after. And I'm thinking, well, this car, it sounds like the brakes are squeaking. And so I left here and I went to El Tuna one more time. And sure enough, I got back here and I could feel the brakes scratching into the rotor. And I was so mad because it was just like, a month or two ago I told this guy. And I hadn't been doing Uber and Lyft that much. Only like, a couple times a week, maybe putting in at the most 6 hours. And so, I knew he had, what he was doing. And instead of me traveling and going to as many people as I could to get the deal that I wanted. I mean, what do you expect out of Pittsburgh? This is what they do here. So I could have went to my old hometown and got my brakes done up there, and then I went through a financial crisis, which right now, this financial crisis has put me in a bind. But I went through this financial crisis, this one that I'm very in now, to where not only couldn't I get the brakes and the rotors fixed, because I let this fool get me to a point to where the brakes and the rotors were scratching, but I had to give up the car. And when you're paying bills are like these little boxes, and you got to keep looking in each box and put money in each box. You know what I mean? And this is how you live your life, putting money in the boxes, like putting cards in boxes. You got to put cash money in those boxes, because if you don't, at the end of the month or the first of the month, the box is empty, because they're constantly taking money out of them boxes. You got to keep filling them. But that's it. That's all I want to say. Just talking about, this was on my mind because of the situation that I'm in. And I see where I fell, but I also see where a lot of rich people fell too. And I see how people charge the rich and they come after the rich, the stuff that they do. And yeah, that's good enough. Thank you for watching.